minimum wage. Federal government, Labour talks deadlock. Nigerian Labour Congress defend 615,000 demands. Fuel scarcity. Federal government begin 15 days emergency fuel supply. It is said, what matters is the information, not what you think about it. Today is World Press Freedom Day. We will be discussing these trending stories and the theme for World Press Freedom Day. Good morning, viewers, and welcome to today's edition of the now streaming morning program. I am Smart Simon, your uncle, and with me in the studio is the Venerable Joseph Unoya JP, the Director, Civic and Political Affairs of the Church of Nigeria and the Chaplain to the National Assembly. Also with us is Chims Nzagu Esquire. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having us again.
Viewers, remember you can be part of the conversation by calling the number on your screen or send your comment via our various social media platforms. First, let's take a look at some select newspaper headline. And we're starting with the Punch. And the lead story says, fuel supply. 9,000 marketers may lose license. IMAN begs NMDPRA/NNPC not to delist operators from selling portal to avert fuel crisis. Queues persist as more filling stations open for sale. Pump price drops marginally. And below the picture, police stumble on drug den after Lagos market fracas. Under breach apartments, ejected tenant may face prosecution. London sword attack. Federal government condemns Nigerian British boy's murder. Please allay fears as IPOP declares May 30 sit at home. And above the nameplate, 615,000 pay. Governors demand sustainable minimum wage. Government borrows 11 trillion via bonds, treasury bill in 4 months. 11 trillion in 4 months. EFCC to move against schools charging dollars. And finally, federal government warns saboteurs as power generation rises to 4,800 megawatts. And the way it is being said is like this rise is being celebrated. Yeah, so before I go to the next paper, in order that you will not lose your thought on these trending stories. So let me start with Barrister. What is your take on this fuel supply as 9,000 marketers may lose licenses?
All right, sir. The fuel issue for me, I have resolved not to talk about it in Nigeria again because each time I talk about it, I get sick. That's the truth. Each time I talk about it, I get sick. So I was out of town only to come in and I saw queue. I felt maybe it was a place that was selling lesser. That's why people are queuing there. Somebody told me, no, this is the trend now. Go all over town. And I drove around the FCT that day. There was so much queue. And I'm asking, how can we be queuing in a same country mind the word sin, in a same country, and we are buying fuel at 680 and 690 and above, and we are still queuing, then something is actually wrong.
Wrong completely.
It is a total collapse of the system. It is an aberration. It is wrong. You can't tell us you have removed subsidy, and when you remove subsidy, everything goes, there will be no queue, everything moving normal, and we are lying to ourselves to it. It brought so much hardship. Nigerians had to readjust. And to even see the fuel at the 680 now to buy is a challenge.
It's a challenge.
Exactly.
Then somebody should resign. Somebody should resign. It is wrong. And I'm talking about the distant marketers. In Nigeria, our problem is that we always like to shift blames. Rather than face the issue squarely, we look for who to blame. Oh, it is the marketers. We shouldn't be buying fuel at 680 with subsidy supposedly removed, and we are still queuing. It is wrong. Something is wrong. If our leaders can no longer handle it, they should step aside.
All right, thank you. So, your take, sir. Queue persists as more filling stations open for sale and pump price drops marginally. I don't know how true it is. If there is any drop on any pump
perhaps
price.
From before the Venerable speaks, perhaps from 690 to 680. Maybe that is a drop.
Maybe
Okay.
that is the drop they are talking about. Really, it is unfortunate. I think it set my mind wholly. Even in the car when we were driving to the studio, this was the subject of discussion. Why should there be queue when we are now buying fuel at 6? The last one I bought 2 days ago was 695.
Can you imagine?
695. And at the entrance, the queue is so terrible. And at the entrance, because I thought it was I saw other vehicles at the entrance, so I decided to come, and they said no, if you are not ready to pay 2,500, I should take my vehicle back, and that is the length of the queue is about 6 electric poles away. I should take my vehicle.
That's over 500 meters.
Yes. Or if I want to enter through there, I should pay 2,500
to enter.
And I asked them, if you were in my shoe, I'm coming to buy fuel at 695 naira per liter. You expect me to pay 2,500 before you give me access? Then it was at that point they said, okay, just give 1,500. I said, I won't give you 1,500. If you want to open this thing, I will give you something at the end of the day to appreciate you. Fine. He said, okay, Oga, I know you are a matured man. So that was how they opened the gate for me, and I ended up giving them 1,000 naira to say thank you. It's very abnormal. It's very
abnormal.
And for the past 1 week plus, I have to park my cars because I cannot stay. In fact, the queue can raise somebody's BP.
Very well.
When I was coming just now, the filling station that we normally, every one of us living in that axis of Abuja normally buy, the queue has been there since yesterday. They are not even selling, and people are just sitting inside the vehicle doing nothing. You can just imagine the time that is being lost by every person. These are people that are supposed to be either working in offices now at their business point. You see, in Nigeria, until the citizens begin to demand serious account from those who are in power, things will not work. You cannot take fuel price from 185 to 690 something as it was 2 days ago. Then people are still on queue suffering. Everyone is keeping quiet.
That's the funny part.
Yes, it's really sad. And this thing is affecting every other sphere of the life of the people, because it's impacting on transportation, it's impacting on everything.
Very well.
So exactly. My own is I don't even know how Nigerians are coping again. Then can you believe Nigerians have been turned into trekking overnight? So many people, all the people that came to see me for prayer and counseling yesterday, these are car owners I know very well, who be living under this condition and be able to live long.
Sorry, Venerable said something. A practical example, Monday, I bought fuel. I was in a queue for about an hour plus because those ones just started selling at the time I passed.
Yes.
So do you know that one man told me, was narrating to me that he queued for 3 hours. And how much fuel did he buy? 5,000.
5,000. Is that not punishment?
I was holding myself from shedding tears. Queuing for 3 hours and buying fuel of 5,000 because that is what he can afford.
Yes.
What fuel of 5,000 is approximately 7 liters.
7 liters.
If it is not up to, so it won't even take the man anywhere. And tomorrow he's back again.
He's back again on the queue.
I will have a government.
And then when you are talking about salary and
minimum
wage and all these things that are there on the front burner.
Yeah.
Yesterday, no, I'm not even going there. That's yesterday or 3 days ago. Because after I have paid 1,000 now to be able to even get inside, I told myself, I better feed this tank even if I have to empty my purse. Then they put 36,000 plus. Then on Monday, my wife told me her car don't empty. She can't go to her place of a business point. I said, okay, take 25. By the time she told me the hours she has spent on the queue, I said, I beg, just tell them to feed the tank. She ended up paying 35,000 plus. That is 36,000. 36 plus 36.
72.
How much is my salary?
72. In 1 week.
In 1 week.
And then
How
it
much
will
is my
finish.
salary?
It will definitely.
I said
finish
in 1
week.
week. The one I bought on Monday is already on yellow. As we speak, I'm still thinking of what to do after now because I don't know how to move.
Yeah. So based on this concern, the reps is saying go after fuel hoarders. They're telling the security agencies. I think that is the right thing to do at this time.
They know the fuel hoarders. They should go after them. They don't need to tell us. It's unfortunate that in Nigeria, our leaders are telling us what they should do. I wish to celebrate them for saying this. I wish to celebrate them for saying this. It is your work. It is the responsibility of the security agent. That is why they are there. They should do it and then let us hear that they have done it. You shouldn't tell us and we should celebrate too. If you know the hoarders, go after them.
All right. Now, before we go to discuss minimum wage, that is something I saw that is alarming. Government borrowed 11 trillion via bonds and treasury bills in 4 months. 11 trillion. So where is this money going?
You know, when he said whenever he talks about fuel, he gets sick. Anytime I talk about debt, I get sick because I have 0-degree tolerance for borrowing. It has been a personal policy. I read in Ecclesiastes that the day you borrow, that is the day you lose your freedom.
Of course.
And until you pay in full, you are a slave. You are not a free man. So when I see government borrowing in this manner, it's really terrible. And when is this borrowing going to end? And what are we spending this money being borrowed in trillions on that we can see visibly? That we can see it visibly. That, oh, these trillions that are borrowed, this is where it is, this way, where you will go and say, wow, see what government is doing.
They are building coastal road from Lagos to Calabar for us.
No, honestly, you remember, yes, you will be aware when we all celebrated as a country for exiting from the Paris Club debt,
of course,
and all this international, is it what they call it?
International Monetary Fund,
Monetary Fund, yes, a debt and all that, which Okonjo-Iweala helped Nigeria to do. Now see where we are. Any money borrowed will be paid back
with interest.
With interest. So if this money was being borrowed and is being invested in something that is constructive, that everyone can see that, oh, with this investment, jobless citizens will have job. food problem, food security will be achieved, this or that, then it will be understandable. But to be borrowing this money and squandering the money and all that, you know, the last day I came to the studio, I said when I was saying 80 billion, 80 billion, my wife said take things easy. Because I was just repeating it to my 80 billion.
I know how much it will take you to spend 1 million every day.
After a few minutes, I'll hear myself exclaim 80 billion, 80 billion, one person. So, and these are borrowed money. These are borrowed money. So,
all right.
Honestly, it's a pity.
So, but my question, sir, is if we are borrowing 4 trillion in 4 months.
No, 11 trillion.
Sorry, 11 trillion rather in 4 months. That means each quarter will borrow 11 trillion. Each quarter will borrow 11 trillion. So by the end of the year, we are running to about 44 trillion borrowed. My question now is, what plans are in place to pay back? Or are we borrowing for our great-grandchildren to pay back?
No, see, Buhari's government, the APC, they have already borrowed money that our grandchildren will pay.
So this one now is for
the debt profile. So this may be for great-grandchildren now.
Well, so let's quickly move to what we have here. EFCC to move against school charging dollars. Before you make your comment, let me quickly encourage our viewers to please call in for your comments on this program. So, EFCC taking charge against dollars, schools spending dollars.
We know what a legal tender is, something that can be used in exchange for something, and we know that in Nigeria our currency is naira, and that somehow also, just like as it applies in other countries of the world, dollar is acceptable. That is, it is operational in other parts of the country where their local currency is not dollar. They still accept dollar as a means of exchange. I think, much as it is good per se to strengthen our economy, but I feel we should also take a step backwards and ask ourselves questions. It is a good step. I am not disputing it, but is it the fulcrum of our economic crisis? Is spending dollar the problem we have? Is it why our economy is static? Our econometrics is poor, and we should look into it. How do we sustain our economy? If we stop them from receiving dollar, they will hike the school fees, and then we'll still pay. The truth is, some of those schools have nationals, international nationals whose children are schooling in their schools. So somebody whose currency is dollar, you make the person change to naira. If they come in here and pay in dollar, it is also if we actually itemize these things, well, it will boost our economy. When they are bringing their own currency into us,
they change into our own currency
and then pay. So telling, okay, stop charging in dollar,
it's not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. There are some people in this country that are being paid in dollar. Some people are working remotely and they are being paid in dollar. So we should tell those international organizations to dismiss our citizens and not pay them because
change into naira and pay them.
So while we are doing things, we should look at all aspects of it. Let's not look at it to be at what happens in Bureau de Change. It is not all about. It's not in sending boys to go there and harass them. How can we maximize these boys to effectively? How can we maximize this dollar issue to build our economy? I saw something in one of the headlines about the EFCC chairman that said they arrested a 17-year-old boy that opened his laptop without password and all. And that has been what has been projecting since and campaigning for. These boys, rather than arrest them, send them to jail, and then put them to correctional centers, we should think of how to harmonize these boys because they have assets that can build our ICT sphere. If there was employment in Nigeria, some of these boys would be gainfully employed in the ICT unit.
Exactly.
But because our senators and our big boys, their children are the people who put there who do not even know any technical.
They are not interested in the work. But
they're just there to receive salary. So, but if these boys will arrest them, engage them, he himself said it and said he will pick up one of them, he will train the boy in school. So beyond stopping these people from paying dollar, it is not the solution to this problem. It is not someone that has malaria and taking paracetamol.
There is a question from a viewer that if you stop schools from charging dollars, will you also stop companies who are also involved in charging dollars?
Yeah, can I come in?
All that? Because it shouldn't be school matter alone.
No, I think to have a balance, this discussion should be split into two. The first is economy. How does the dollar impact on the economy? The second will now be the issue of corruption, fighting corruption. And then that will help us to understand what EFCC is trying to do. You know, at the peak of the free fall of Naira, there was serious discussion at the Senate and the House of Rep, and one of the senators was advocating seriously that let Nigeria government stop transaction in dollars within the four corners of this country.
Exactly.
He said, once you do that, all the people coming from abroad who transacted business in Nigeria, the foreign nationals, the expatriates, they will be forced to be converting their dollar
to
naira. It will automatically make naira
skyrocket
to gain more value, because it is being chased in the market. People want to buy and use it. It made a lot of sense to me, even though I was not an economist.
Yes.
So, to that extent, that is on economic level.
Yes.
And that is what why you see central bank was going to all this bureau de change and all the things they did. And as soon as they stop, is it Binance or whatever they call them, and you see the way the naira have been improved. I'm not an economist, but we know that the naira was really falling freely, but it has started bouncing back now. That is on the economy side. On the security side, I think, to my mind, EFCC is doing the right thing. Now, those schools are not built in America.
Exactly.
They are built in Nigeria. And if they are built in Nigeria, why don't they transact pay the school fees in naira, and then if they want to repatriate the money, let them convert it to their dollar, repatriate it. Now, on the side of fighting corruption, it's far easier to move dollars than to move naira now. And that is why the politicians that are stealing the government money, they move this money and convert it to dollars to be able to move it freely. And you can see the classical case that is before Nigeria now, EFCC versus Yaya Bello. You see somebody going to pay.
Did you see the conversation?
Yes.
There was a WhatsApp conversation.
In fact,
don't worry.
No, that one.
Don't arrange. You don't change naira into dollar.
That is. In fact, I saw that corruption is an organized crime in Nigeria. It's not just one individuals that are involved in it. You see, if you look at that very discussion, these are people, highly placed people in the state, all of them strategizing on how to make sure that prosecuting somebody who have stolen government money will never see the light of the day. They are thinking of how to convert money, or they say they have converted money to dollars to bribe judges.
It was even tribunals matter, so that the governor will not even lose his this thing. And then they will continue.
So you just see that this issue of dollars need to be dealt with. It's more difficult for them to move. If you want to move 80 billion in naira, you will need trailers. So in trailers, yes, they will be in convoy. But if you want to move it in dollars as of today, you just need one pickup van, and you are good to go. Or one bulletproof car, you are good to tinted car, you are good to go. So that is why I think I will support EFCC, and also linking it with that suggestion that was being made on the floor of the Senate. I think we need to look at this dollar transaction issue. We have a legal tender in Nigeria, which is our naira.
Okay, sir. Just to, I agreed with Venerable in part. But on the other aspect of it, before we go after schools, let's go after government.
Yes.
Let's leave schools and go after government.
I agree.
Because
that is my point.
It is the children of the politicians that are paying in dollars in those schools.
Because the dollar they carry from government that they are taking to schools.
Do our politicians spend naira? No.
You know,
a number of them spend dollars.
Again, the police will tell you if there's no receiver, there will be no incentive to take.
Exactly.
If somebody is not going to steal, the point I'm making now, why they are talking beaming torchlight on schools, because of what has happened. If there are no schools, say bring dollar, we will receive it, then the incentive to take more from that end will reduce. So that's then talking about people that have been companies that are paying in dollars. Yes, foreign companies that are in this country have been paying money in dollars over the years, and it was not a problem. But the point is, should we be spending dollar freely on the street of Nigeria? I will say that is not the right thing. As long as we continue to do that, we are only kind of disregarding our own legal tender. Let them convert. That is what I think is the right, because when the senator was speaking, honestly, I saw the good side of it.
I totally agree with the position of the senator. All I'm saying is that EFCC should please leave the schools for now and start with the government.
Let them,
this is a businessman who is trying to survive in Nigeria's harsh economy. So let's leave the school and start.
No, it's not going to be a major problem for the school. It's just a question of policy decision. Simply make a policy decision. When you want to come and pay school fees, convert it to naira. They will not lose anything. And they will not lose anything. So it's simply going to be a policy decision. I'm not sure it will affect their business.
All right. Thank you so much. And viewers, we still encourage you to call in. We would love to hear from you. Your comments and questions on these issues that we're looking at. Now we go to something I consider very important, which is the minimum wage. And the Vanguard is having the headline, minimum wage, governors working on what is payable. And this is coming from Nigerian Governors Forum. It says 37 members tripartite committee still consulting. Can you remember when this minimum wage committee was inaugurated? And up to today, they are still consulting. Assures of looking into remuneration of state judicial officers, infrastructures of courts, labor justify 615,000 wage demand, gives breakdown, counter government on May 1 commencement date for new minimum wage. And apart from this, we're told also from our trending stories that the federal government labor talks deadlock. NLC defend that demand. No more excuse for non-payment of minimum wage. Oshomole. This is coming from the almighty Oshomole. Governors demand sustainable minimum wage. They want a minimum wage that is sustainable and they will be able to pay. I'm not sure if states are even able to pay the 30,000 minimum. Up till this moment, some states were not able to pay minimum wage. Have you ever heard what a local government worker is receiving as salary? Is a ridiculous something. How NLC arrived at 615,000 minimum wage at Jairo, and then Nigerian Governors Forum assures NLC TUC orders of improved sustainable minimum wage. 70,000 not living wage Gombe NLC. Ebonyi Governor announced 10,000 salary raise for workers. NLC berates Zamfara over teachers 8,000 naira salary. 8,000. 8,000.
Yeah, the word is in heaven.
Okay. Kogi workers demand 35,000 minimum wage award payment. And then NLC laments Borno retirees 4,000 naira monthly pension. Kano NLC worries over 75 billion naira unremitted pensions. So all of these trending stories are on the issue of minimum wage. Now, can we handle this? So let me start with you. What is your take? This issue of minimum wage that is still back and forth, and up till today, nothing has been done. And I'm sure that if this thing has to do with National Assembly or some other highly placed this thing, they will have rushed to, finish it immediately. But for a common man who is trying to earn a living, they are still consulting. What is your take?
Well, in Nigeria, we set up committee to review the report of a committee. So I am not surprised. If for 4 years we are still consulting, it is most unfortunate. Most states, have not even started paying implementation of the initial one of 2019. Most states. And the governors are telling us they are still consulting. But if we had to do a purchase of bulletproof cars and SUVs for government running, within 2 months it is approved and purchases made. But when it has to do, how much are we even talking about here? Venerable just told us how much to fuel his tank, 36,000 for 1 week. So the minimum wage you are talking about is one full tank for 1 week.
No, not for 1 week.
Okay.
That depends on
your
my
movement and your location of office and your residence.
You can see where my office is in Gudu and where
your
I
house
am
is
in a Cafe District. So if I have to move with that car
daily
to and fro for 3 days, that tank is empty.
And we are talking about 30,000 minimum wage. And they are telling us they are still. That means our leaders are not responsible. Our leaders are not responsible. No responsible and responsive government will look at the citizens suffer and still keep quiet and say you are still consulting. If your child was involved in this, will you do the same thing? We don't take things seriously in Nigeria. And you know why? I blame us, the citizens. We are yet to take our leaders accountable for their actions. Until we get them accountable for their actions, they will sit up. But because Daddy said something, fuel is 680, 690, and they are accused on the street, nobody is saying nothing. Nigerians are sitting at ease. We need to rise up. This country belongs to all of us. It is our country.
So if we can come from the point of law now, how can citizens hold their leaders accountable without breaking of law and order?
The court is said to be the last hope of the common man. If our leaders are not doing right,
I doubt that much.
Well, it is still. As a lawyer, I'm still here to defend the rule of law, and the court is still the last hope of the common man.
Okay,
and our courts still give good judgment.
I don't know whether
very smiling. Our courts still.
Nigeria court from their disposition as at today, there is room for change, but from their disposition and our observation is the hope of the rich man. Not common man for now. But you people can repent. The judiciary, that is what we are preaching, repentance. But the court has really not been doing that very well when it comes to defending the poor and the common man. It's clear that the judgment is for the highest bidder in Nigeria in most cases. I'm very sorry, with just a little exception maybe to some men of integrity and women of integrity that are still in the bench?
The judiciary, yes, the bench.
Yeah, in the bench. So it's really an unreserved apology to those people who are holding their ground to ensure that the right thing is done. But the truth is that majority of our justices are not just caring about justice in Nigeria. So it's something that they need to look into. And coming back to the minimum wage, I think you may think that labor is being unrealistic, but the reality is that they are very realistic.
Very true.
They are very realistic. Okay. Should they come down a little? I will say, okay, let's come down a little, because I believe in sustainability. Any policy you start, you have to think of how to end it. Let's let them come down a little to what will be sustainable. What government will continue to be able to pay, not after approving 615 naira per month, then the government is then government is owing the workers 20 months in area. So that will not be good. And you can see what happened in Kogi. There was a piece of news yesterday that the workers were rejoicing because for the first time their salary have been paid in full. I was surprised.
Yes, now.
So, which means they have never been receiving.
Bello was paying in percentage. Anything
now,
he give you take.
Now, that now brings us to ability to pay. When governors are talking about something sustainable. Now, Yaya Bello is the person EFCC have been touchlight on now, and we are talking about 80 billion. Though,
and did you see other things?
Yes.
Apart from the 80 billion, some other choice properties.
Yes. So now,
and their value.
How can a state of such nature, where a governor can appropriate to himself 80 billion naira, and with all the that is the one EFCC said you are not able to pay salary?
It's not that they are not able to pay, they are not willing to pay.
The political will to do this thing is not just there. And my own concern is, where is our conscience? How can now let me ask you, when I'm talking about conscience, you who was voted by your people to lead the people, you pay your school fees up to 2035.
Yes.
2035. Meanwhile, that is 11 years ahead.
He's been a good father.
Can you imagine?
He's been a good father.
Then, the people that voted for you, their children are at home.
Cannot pay 5,000.
They drop out because of school fees. And even the school we are talking about, if you go there, you ask what kind of learning is taking place in this kind of environment.
Open roof.
With open roof, rain beating them, there's sun.
No seats to sit on, no table, no blackboard.
You saw when one guy was going around in my state, those states, exposing what has the state of school because of election that is coming. You will pity people. See children lie down on the floor
to write.
Lying down on the floor, young boys and young girls lying down flat on the floor because they just want to be able to write something. And in such a state, people are riding bulletproof cars, riding the latest Lexus, the latest Toyota Jeep. It doesn't make sense. It's like the conscience of many of the people in the corridor of power is not really active, you know. And that is where while we are condemning all these things in the society, we need to speak to ourselves who are men of God, who are ministers, that our sermon in the pulpit should carry more weight, should make people to repent. Our sermon in the pulpit should be geared towards addressing all these anomalies in the society, injustice in the society, corruption in the society. Our sermon should not be such that people, after you finish preaching, the person is smiling to Holy Communion table. You should be able to finish your message now in a situation like this, and
people are sober.
Somebody is sober, is not able to come and take Holy Communion because his conscience has been touched. You get what the point I'm making. Now, I think I want to appeal to religious leaders. Let me put it that way. Religious leaders, whether on the Islamic faith, whether on Christian side, let's wake up and tell the leaders, tell the people the whole truth, because we can't continue to live like this. I don't think we should continue the way we are now. And for politicians, let them know that the day of reckoning will always come.
They don't think of that.
There's every person will give account, and apart from giving account to EFCC, you are still going to give account to the Almighty God, because the road you did not take care of is claiming innocent blood, innocent soul on a daily basis because the roads are terrible. The hospitals you refuse to take care of, people are dying, needless deaths, unwarranted deaths because the facilities are not there, and you carry the money, you go and use it to build a house for yourself in Guzape, and you think you have arrived. You have not arrived.
At all.
You are not arrived.
At
Judgment will come. Judgment will surely come. If you escape that of EFCC, you go and face God later.
And so I think, as it is, we should review the definition of democracy, because in Nigeria we are no longer running democracy.
I don't.
That's the truth. We are not, because it is said to be government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Now, what is the place of the people in the current democracy in Nigeria? These are things we should talk about. It is now government of a few, by the few, and everything is all about them, because the average Nigerian is impoverished. We are not asking for too much as a country.
Like the citizens. They say the office of the citizen is the most powerful office.
But as it is, do we really have that office again? Because a citizen has not eaten is not a citizen.
Right now, it's like Nigerians have accepted their fate.
Because you speak and they come after you. You speak and they come after you. So what do you do?
You know, when you were talking
talking
about democracy, a word came to my mind: kakistocracy. That is what we are really practicing in Nigeria. What is kakistocracy? It's a government by the least suitable, government by the least suitable or least competent citizens of a state. The danger is that this will reduce us to, reduce us to the kind of situation we find ourselves in today. When the less suitable people are the people in power. Then when you are talking about this stealing, here somebody stole this, somebody stole this in government, in billions, and it's even stealing it without sense. How do you steal 80 billion? What do you want to do with it really? That is senseless. Now, why? I'm very sorry to say, most of these people were touts, agbero, hooligans, court boys in the universities.
Yeah.
Most of the people that are making laws for us today, that are in need for, they were courtists in the university. All those people, they call them NFA, who will never enter class.
So, and what do you expect now?
Who will never enter class. They are always in disco hall, breaking bottle on people's head. They are the people who gone because they use force to get their way, make this money, and buy power. Then they become our leader.
Okay. So quickly, there is something a Senate president said, and I want you to comment on that. He said, no Nigerian will work under inhuman conditions again. Senate president.
You know, I like when we say things, blanket statements, without any proper analysis of how it will work. No Nigerian citizen will work on that. It's just a political statement, as long as I'm concerned. It's just a political statement. In fact, it's a statement to excite the citizens.
Yes.
And that is what they have reduced Nigeria to. We hear such statements, and I don't understand. How do you intend to implement it? Or you sit in one red chamber and then speak such grammar and expect, how will you translate it down to the various local governments? Inhuman treatment. The staff in their offices are passing through inhuman treatment. At least we have their chaplain here. What is the state of their office? What is the state of the toilet facilities in that place?
I learned that they quarrel over seat.
So some of them not even at table, and we are talking about inhuman treatment.
Quarrel over seat.
From National Assembly. Now, I'm happy that their chaplain is here. So let's ask him if he has a proper table in the National Assembly, and we are talking about inhuman treatment. When teachers have no chalk even to write with.
Then go to police station and see the condition that which our law enforcement agents are working.
Sir, I was in Force headquarters and I was so embarrassed that there was no light and all of us were sweating. They said it's a smaller generator, it can't carry AC.
So what do you call that?
So I told them, I said, this is not right. This is our highest force in the country, the headquarters. If at all we should have a full-fledged, they should designate all our money that politicians have, they should bring it here, because this is the only arm that is protecting us. I told someone, I said, remove these people from the road. You see that we are on our own.
Go to a staff room in secondary schools, in primary school, and see the condition.
That they are talking about. We are talking about university. Secondary school is too far.
Go to general hospitals and see the offices, the people you are going to meet to treat you. Their condition is terrible. What can that statement that the Senate president just made? It's like what is just to.
It's just to make people happy. It's just, of course, on Workers' Day.
That is already inhuman conditions people are
everywhere,
in, and you're saying,
and it is not being addressed in any practical way.
All right, sir. So we move to the last thing to be done before we close on this program. As we said earlier, today is World Press Freedom Day, and is celebrated on May 6 every year to commemorate the fundamental principles of the press and to honor world journalists. The day stresses the importance of a free and independent press and promote the freedom of expression in the world. It also highlights the challenges including the censorship, violence, and restriction on freedom of expression faced by journalists. As per Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impact information and ideas through any media, regardless of the frontiers. Chile and UNESCO will host the 31st World Press Freedom Day Conference between May 2nd and 4th in Santiago. So that is that. So talking about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Beaming from the nation's capital, we bring to you the good news through various programming, news updates, worship, and teachings.
The paralysis of sin makes us to be separated from God.
Contact us for your live streaming solutions and event coverage, such as synods, conferences, seminars, revivals, and lots more. Engage us in showcasing your brands and services to the world through adverts and sponsorship. We also offer latest broadcast equipment for rent, all at affordable prices. Tune in to ACNNTV via any free-to-air decoder with the following installation parameters: Intelsat 20 satellite with tuning frequency 12562 MHz, symbol rate 30 Mbps, orbital position 68.5 degree east, and horizontal polarization. You can also keep in touch with episodes of our programs via these social media platforms. For inquiries, please call 070-3265-6544 or mail us via inquiries@acnntv.com. ACNN, reaching the world with the undiluted Word of God.